What's up, people? Welcome to Rare Reviews, where I rate and bring you an array of videos from the anime world and geek culture. Today I'll be reviewing the anime Love Tyrant, also known as Renai Bokun. Love Tyrant is a 12-episode supernatural comedy harem that is based off a 2012 manga of the same name by Megane Mihoshi. The animation studio behind this title is EMT², which is a fairly new studio, and Love Tyrant is by far the most popular series to date. The anime is rated TV-14 due to its cartoony violence and sexual humor. You can watch this anime legally on Crunchyroll for you sub fans, as well as on Funimation Now for you dub fans. That way, everyone is happy. Okay, this is going to get kind of crazy, but I'll try my best to describe the show. This is Guri. She's a Cupid angel who likes to cosplay as a demon. Her job, as you can imagine, is to help humans fall in love, or at least that's what she's supposed to do. She gets bored very easily and does whatever sounds fun at any particular moment. This is Seiji Aino. He is your everyday goofy-looking nice guy and is our protagonist. These two cross paths when Guri accidentally writes down Seiji's name in her kiss note, a magical notebook that makes people fall in love when two names are written down together with a little X. Yep, a Death Note parody in 2017. Talk about timely. Now Seiji must quickly pick a life partner or he'll remain a virgin for the rest of his life. He decides to name Akane Hiyama, his secret high school crush, to be his fateful bride. Conveniently, it just so happens that she's into him too. The only problem is that she's your stereotypical yandere and becomes easily jealous and isn't afraid to take out her frustration with violence. Guri thinks Seiji and Akane make the perfect odd couple and writes their names down in the kiss note. However, she thinks hanging out with Seiji is too much fun to pass up and adds her name to the notebook, thus making them an official love triangle. But wait, that's not all. Soon Akane's half-sister, Yuzu Kichogazaki, adds to their polyamorous relationship when Guri includes her name to the kiss note too, because Yuzu is in love with Akane, and she figures, why the heck not? Oh joy, we managed to get some incest into this anime too. Just what I wanted. The big dilemma and the conflict at the start of the show is that angels aren't meant to be partnered with humans. Because of their new unique relationship, if Guri does not perform her duties properly as a Cupid, Seiji and the other girls will lose their souls and go to hell. You know, just that. So it is now up to Seiji and the others to get this hyper yet lazy angel to take her job seriously. There is a ton of stuff I am leaving out due to time constraints, though that's about the gist of things. The story is predictable even though it goes off the rails half the time. The focus, you assume, is Guri's job as a Cupid. However, it seems like the writers forgot all about that stuff early on. Many episodes involve more on Akane and Yuzu's family drama, rather than playing Cupid for their own well-being. In all fairness, at least they make one joke about how none of them are doing what they are originally supposed to do. More of this kind of self-aware humor would have made the show a lot funnier to me, yet sadly, it does not. Much of the humor comes from overused gags from other anime series, like, oh no, Akane's mad again and she's going to kill me, or Yuzu's tripping all over the place and being really creepy about her unhealthy relationship with her sister. The few times I did chuckle was from Seiji being the straight man among all these weirdos, or Guri doing something completely random and nonsensical. The characters mostly fall into typical anime archetypes, with yanderes and tsunderes in the forefront. The anime attempts to give some depth to its female characters, although they fall short of achieving that goal by skipping details and not taking the proper time it takes to make a well-crafted narrative. Seiji is way too nice and hardly has any conflicts to overcome to make him an interesting character, which makes Guri the most unique character out of the main cast. She is entertaining enough and does get some character development, but having only one character worth mentioning is not a well-balanced show. The most fun I had with the story and characters was in the middle of the series when it wasn't bogged down by a ridiculous premise or an unnecessary over-the-top climax that felt rushed. So basically, I enjoyed a third of this anime, and the rest, not so much. The art style of Love Tyrant is largely your standard fare. Bright colors, big eyes, crazy hairstyles, and of course at least one character with huge knockers. But what would you expect from a harem anime? So yes, there is indeed some sexual fan service, yet it wasn't in my face every 2 seconds, so it didn't really bother me much this time around. The one uncommon practice I noticed was how the artists drew their characters' outlines. Most shows use typical thin black lines to separate the different features of a character. However, they use transparent or light colors in a lot of its character designs, which my eyes couldn't help but notice. I personally didn't prefer this choice over traditional outlines, though I do applaud the artists for trying something experimental with the show. The animation, for better or worse, meets my expectations for a comedy anime. Nothing amazing, and nothing that really made me cringe either. Another note worth mentioning is how the show attempts to use more unorthodox camera angles, except they look more unnatural than unique to me. It goes to show you not everyone can pull off Shaft and Akiyuki Shinbo's style. Nobody can tilt heads or come up with crazy angles like those guys. Easily the best part of Love Tyrant is its English dub. I saw half the series in Japanese with subtitles, and honestly, it didn't deliver the same impact as the Western version did to me. The Japanese actors come off as too nice or too tame, even when they're supposed to come across as these crazy, wacky characters. Funimation's actors really got into character and seemed a little bit more self-aware of just how ridiculous the show is. The English cast also has a perfect balance of new and veteran voice actors. If I had to pick out a favorite, it would be Monica Rial as Yuzu. Yuzu surprisingly probably has the most lines in this anime, and Miss Rial does a fantastic job as always, and even provided the English scripts for this dub, which I very much appreciated. It helped deliver some of the jokes better and explain things much clearer than watching the series over on Crunchyroll. The original music was meh. Being a comedy series, it used a lot of pauses and odd instruments to play up the humor, though I didn't find it as fun or memorable as other pieces of music that had a very similar structure to it. The opening is super forgettable to me. I struggle to recall it as I say these words. I'm fairly sure it shows off the main cast, which I suppose is a good thing, though the pop song and formulaic animation does not help it stand out from the rest of the anime that came out this spring season. The ending was just as good, or as bad, as the show's opening. The fading in of the watercolored versions of the characters was somewhat neat, but I'm not sure if it really fitted into the series' overall comedic vibe. To recap, I didn't really care about the poor setup of Love Tyrant and its stupid rules that really didn't matter. Their characters mostly lack any depth or development except for Guri. I did laugh at some of the jokes, though not enough to justify watching all 12 episodes. The artists and animators attempt to think outside the box, but ended up falling short in my opinion. The English dub does a miraculous job of making the show actually tolerable to watch, where the Japanese version failed to keep my interest. The music, including the opening and ending, lack anything worth noting and will be forgotten immediately as soon as they're off the screen. So with all that in mind, and based off my own enjoyment and preferences, I'll give Love Tyrant a 2 out of 5 and a recommendation to skip it. This show is at its best when it's being weird and wacky, though unfortunately, it's not that most of the time, it's just cliche. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you think about Love Tyrant? Leave me your thoughts and questions in the comments section. If there's an anime you'd like me to review, then feel free to put your requests down below and I'll try to make it happen. I currently have some requests on my schedule and I plan to have them out before the end of summer, so please look forward to those. If you like what I do here, please share this video amongst your friends and hit that like and subscribe button. That stuff really does help me out and I truly appreciate all the help that I can get. Look me up on social media if you're into that kind of thing. And last, but most importantly, thank you so much for watching. I was Raiden and I'll see you guys again on the next episode of Rave Reviews.